Hi everyone, I'm Jana and this is Apple Dolly Creations, and we are taking something that I found at work and we are making another snowman. I found these Dusk to Dawn light bulbs. Someone left them and as soon as I saw them I thought, oh, they're mine. So when you hop on, say hi. Let me get myself pulled up on my phone. So I told you I'd be live today. Whoops, let's turn that volume down because we don't need two of us talking. One is enough. Hi Deborah, hi Brenda. So if you've been on Pinterest for the last few years, you've seen light bulbs, all kinds of light bulbs made into all kinds of ornaments. Well, when I saw these, I remembered seeing that at some point. I don't go on Pinterest very often. So, hi Julie. So these are Dusk to Dawn light bulbs. And somebody left 6 this size and 6 smaller ones, but they're like half the size in the donation center. Hi Deborah. Yes, it is huge. So when I saw these, I instantly thought snowmen. So I've had these for a few months and I had no clue what I was doing today until about 1 o'clock. And I thought, oh, I got those light bulbs. I'm going to go pull them out. So I've been sitting here ever since I got home from work working on these. That's why I'm still in uniform. Yeah, it is huge. Yeah, here's my hand. Yeah, these things are 12 inches long. So yeah, it's a nice big light bulb. So I took my Dremel and I drilled a hole on both sides so that we can put a wire hanger. And these were very, very dirty. When I took them, they were individually boxed, but they were very dirty. So I cleaned these. I know that, yes, that would, yep, you can use any light bulb. Just, you know, your dimensions on your hat or whatever you want to do would be different. But I cleaned these several times with alcohol. You want to do that with any glass to make sure you get any fingerprints or dust or whatever off. So that's what we're using. Now, if you have a light bulb that you could actually screw into a light, you could do it this way. But we're doing it this way because I'm not climbing a pole to put this on. Hi, Colette. How are you doing? So while I was sitting here watching Jody, I meant to stop on my way home from work and buy spackle. And I thought, can I make some? And I think I did. Look at how thick that is. So what I did was this is Waverly Sandstone chalk paint. And I squirted a bunch of Deco Art pearls. This is a pearlescent paint in it to give it a little bit of a glisten. I do not like using glitter because I never can get it cleaned up. No matter how much I vacuum, it's still here. It's evil. So I like to use this. I do use a little glitter, but I like to go outside with it. Hey, Jody. So, I lost my train of thought. Oh, how I made my spackle. So I just used my paint and I put baking soda in it. Now when I did it, it was a little thick, but the longer it sat here, it got really thick. And because I wanted spackling for this. So I sort of made some. It's really, really thick. Now I did add a little bit of water to this because it got so thick. You've been gone. So it got so thick I added a little water to it. But I think what I'm going to do with this, it's going to work. So I'm just using, this is a Folk Art multi-surface paint. It is sort of like a chalk paint. You can use this on everything. Glass and tile and everything. Yuck. So I am painting from here up is his hat, and we're going to put a brim on it. but from here up I'm painting black. And I added, just to be on the safe side, I'm adding a little bit of Mod Podge to this. I have a big glob of paint coming out. Yuck. So I'm adding a little bit of Mod Podge to this. That's just going to help it adhere. Just adhere it a little bit. Now this has instant coffee in it. I don't care. I'm still using it. I'm just using a little bit. It's black paint. It's no big deal. Well, today it's no big deal. So I'm just going to mix this up. Now I have a piece of wire. I'm not sure what I did this one for, but I'm going to put it in here to hold this, because I have over here on the side a ruler stuck underneath of my scissor container, and I'm hanging these on that ruler to dry because I got several done here. Is this going to work? Maybe I need to cut another piece of wire. If you all hear all the work going on outside, they are building a housing community down the street from me. So they are quite noisy. That's not going to work. We're just going to paint it. I'm going to hold the bottom and paint it. So I'm just doing a line straight around. They're cutting trees down across the street. So my nice quiet little neighborhood is no longer quiet. That's all I'm doing. So we're going to set this aside and let that dry. Because I have one already dried. So let me take this wire off and put it on that one. That would work. Oh, it does? Yep. I add coffee to my Mod Podge because most of the things I do are primitive, so I can hang this one up. I think I painted the hole. There we go. You know what? I'm not going to get that fed through because I can't see through it. So anyway, so this is dry. See that? And the Mod Podge makes it a little shiny because this is gloss that I have. I picked it up by mistake. Now on the face here, I'm going to use a set of these eyes and the mouth. I got this from Amazon. We've used them before. So I don't want all of this to be gloppy the way I'm going to paint it. So right here, let me find the holes so I can get it all centered right. Okay, right here, I'm going to do smooth. And you'll see that in a moment. Make sure I get my hole straight. So this is very thick. And this also has baking soda in it. I guess I should tell you that. That's how it got so thick. So I just put a regular tablespoon of baking soda. And the longer, this sat here about 15 minutes and got really, really thick. So I'll show you one I have already done and dried. So I want right here in the front to be smooth. Right across the top, I'm just taking globs of glue paint and just tapping it on. See how that's going? And I'm doing that everywhere except where the face is going. Just patting it on, just like spackling. Just see that? So I'm just patting it on. So by doing it this way too, you don't need to put more than one coat on. So I accidentally made it this thick. This is not something I've done before, but I was working on these while I was watching Jody. Excuse me. And the paint just kept getting thicker and thicker with that baking soda, and I thought, oh my God, that's like spackle. Use it as snow too, huh? Hi, Deborah. So if you don't have spackle, mix your paint up with baking soda and leave it sit. This sat 15 minutes to get this thick. See, it's not coming off the brush. Now this will take a while to dry. I did half dry the other one with the heat tool. So I'm going around the line where I painted smooth, just because I don't want any straight lines on this. And around the chin, where the bottom of the bulb. So I know my coworkers, some of the things I take, like these, look at me like I've lost my mind. But some of them watch me and they're amazed. See, it doesn't take long. Now this would make a really good Santa beard, doing it this way. And just making sure that I didn't leave any air bubbles, because the other one, after it sat for a few minutes, there were air bubbles. So I want to make sure that this is all covered. Now I'm not sure that after you make this paint you could keep it, because as it's sitting here, and even now I added water, it's thickening. Yes, it is, Jody. Yes, it is. Now I have painted light bulbs before. One year I did all different kind of characters. And my one grandchild was into Grinch. So I did a Grinch and I did a deer and Santa, but this big would look nice on a hanging from a garland. Different characters, or on a wreath. I wanted this texture because, you know, snow. Those back home they have about 3 inches, I was told, which they can keep. Of course, this morning it was in the low 30s here. We had frost on our windows. I wasn't ready for that. See, I don't know if you could see the light bulb showing. There's some air bubbles, so I'm going to fill those in. That's what I'm doing right now, just going back over, making sure that none of the bulb is showing, or that I didn't get it really thin on one spot and not the other. I hope everybody's had a great day. I was training new employees today. That's always fun. So I'm making my line around the top straight. Everybody, when they start a new job, they start off with a bang. So hopefully in 2 weeks, they're still working on like a bang. So can you see that texture? See, right in the front is smooth. That's where I'm going to put the face. I wasn't sure if the face would stick to that texture there. So I need to put the wire on this so I can hang it, because I sat here for about 20 minutes with the heat tool getting this, the other one. Okay, where's the hole? It helps if my wire's straight. There. Well, it's about as straight as it's getting anyway. Come on, go straight across. Sometimes you gotta coax things. Now the hole is twice the diameter of the wire. So I did it that way just so I wouldn't have this issue. Hold it up to the light. Maybe I can see the light through it. So where am I sitting this? Like this, right there. That works perfect. So this is what it is when it's dry. So we have to paint this. And I'm leaving this on till I'm done. I'm not taking it off. So I need some more black paint. So I'm going as straight as I can all the way around the top here. I would say this is about 90% dry right now, but it is kind of smoothing itself out a little bit. But this paint didn't sit as long as the paint we just did, so that might be a reason too, because what we just used sat for about 15 minutes and got really thick. Try and get my line straight. That might be a chore. That might be the hardest part of this whole project. Okay, let's dry that. This doesn't dry as fast as the heat tool, as the regular heat tool. Marsha, we are using Dusk light bulbs. I did, Julie. I lucked out. I walked off the elevator and the guy was just sitting in the donation center. Come on, dry. Yeah, this thing doesn't get as hot, dry as fast as the other. Now I smeared, oh, I got black paint on my fingers. That's why I'm getting black. I'm like, where's this black paint coming from? Me. Let me sit this down and clean my hands. Because I'm giving him freckles. So, my husband says these are very expensive light bulbs that we're using tonight. But since I'm not climbing a pole to use these things the way they're supposed to, they become a craft product. Okay, I got that all off my fingers. So let's touch up this guy because I gave him black spots. Yeah, the longer this is sitting here, this is becoming like a really thick paste. So I think it would be good for snow or doing a Santa beard, or if you run out of spackle or don't have any and forget to pick it up like me. Where is more? Okay, let's try that before I get my fingers in that too, and then it looks like I'm finger painting. Saw another spot. I don't know if you guys can hear those guys outside working, but I tell you what, they are making a lot of racket. So this is actually the first time I have ever used baking soda in paint. So I would say you can't keep it because this is really thick right now. And I've added water a couple of times to it. So, where did I see that? Because look at that. That is so thick it's not even running. So I'm going to hang this over here for a moment, and we're going to make his nose. Yeah, look at how thick that is now. Really, really thick. So I could probably continue using this by adding some more water, but it is like super, super thick. So now it's like pancake, a thick pancake batter. Yes, I'm just going to put it on this one and let it do its thing. So I've got 3 bulbs going here at one time. Multitasking. So while I was sitting here watching Jody, I thought one of these would make a really cute reindeer. And when I started doing this with the baking soda and the paint, I thought that would look so cute as Santa's beard. So I'm going to experiment, because that's all this is. I have never done this with paint before. But I see so many people using baking soda, and I kept thinking, what project am I going to try that on? Well, this just happened to work out because I needed to do something today. And I told Tony this morning, I said, well, I'm working today. I got to think of a project. And then I got training a couple of people, and you know, my brain was on them and not my video. So I've been training people for 2 days. I would be training tomorrow too if I worked, but I don't work on Wednesday. Or on Thursday. Today's Wednesday, Jenna. Okay, so we're gonna sit this back in this bowl and let it continue doing whatever it's gonna do. Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Deborah. So tonight I'm getting my comments down here on my phone and not up there. Now on Monday I had them up there and I can't see up there, but I couldn't get them down here. And Jody, hers just ended itself in the middle of the video. You can't win. You just can't win. So I'm putting this in the trash before I stick my whole arm in it. Okay. And we know I'm dangerous with black paint. So let's get rid of all of this. So I'm not wearing it. Of course, it gets on my uniform. It don't matter, right? It's black. So let's go back to the one that has the hat and the face stuff, or the head. So there we go. So this one, the paint did not sit as long as this one. Now this one too is not as gloppy as it was when we did it. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see it. So it seems to, the baking soda seems to be leveling itself out a little bit. But when I look at that on the back of this, I see a lamb. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of these, but as I'm doing this one, I'm coming up with all kinds of ideas. Just another Jody live. Hey, I think you did good. So, now the faces I'm using, I think there was 12 in this pack. They came from Amazon. I did post a link the first time I used them. So there's like all different faces. You can tell I used one on there. All different faces. So I think I'm only using the eyes and the mouth on one of these because I'm making my own nose. So I think I'm going to use this one. So as we found out before, you have to cut these apart. Now you can peel this whole thing off if you're using the whole face, but I'm not. And I need the eyes to be wider apart. So, and I'm using the mouth. And we'll use the nose another day. So I want the eyes wider apart. So I'm cutting all the excess around it off. There was no well, there is directions. They're in another language. So, and since I have a hard time with English, I don't know what it says. So, I'm doing my own thing. One of my employees only speaks Spanish, but her and I communicate pretty good. She just comes in and does her thing, and I'm okay with that. So she'll apologize and tell me she doesn't speak English, and I tell her, I said, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish, but we do good together. So I'm just rubbing these on. So I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to use these. I did an internet search. Amazon really doesn't say, so I rub it on. And then there's like a backing. You peel it off. That's what I discovered the last time. So I need to rub over that black a little bit more. And this is why I don't get my nails done. Because I use my nails as a tool. My granddaughter, well, one granddaughter used to yell at me because she spends $200 on her nails. Oh no, I got better places to put $200. So you just peel this backing off, and we have an eye. And this is like really, really sticky. Hi, Melissa. They're in another language. It is a lot. But you know what? She works for it, so she can do what she pleases. So she wants her own apartment. She's going to be 21. She wants her own apartment. She says, I can't afford it. So I was talking to her at Thanksgiving, and I was saying, well, if you didn't pay this, this, and this, you could afford that. And she looked at me, she says, Manny, I can't stop doing that. I said, well, then you can't afford your apartment. So there's probably a better tool besides my fingernail to use, but you know, I use my fingernails. I work at U-Haul, as you can tell, and I take care of all the storage units. We have over 1,500 that I take care of. And we have a donation center where customers can leave stuff. And I got off the elevator one day, and this guy was leaving a box of stuff. Well, there are some things customers can't leave. So when someone's leaving something, I'm always watching. What are you leaving? Because you're not leaving me stuck with stuff that we're not allowed to have. Like we can't mattresses against health department, and people always trying to leave them. So, you know, some people think I'm mean. I probably am, but you know, it comes back on me. And these are Dusk to Dawn light bulbs. And somebody was leaving them. Now, normally I would say, you can't leave that. Nobody's going to take it. You can only leave stuff that other people are going to use. Well, Jenna saw these and saw, oh, those will make great snowmen. So I allowed him to leave them. So it depends. If I can use it, I'll allow you to leave it. And some of my coworkers, when they clean out units that, you know, stuff people left behind, and some of my coworkers will call me and say, I know, right? Hey, they'll send me a picture. And Tony does the same thing because he takes care of trucks when they come in. That's right, Jody. And he'll send me pictures. Hey, can you use this? Do you want this? And my coworkers are doing the same thing now because they see me taking all this weird stuff, as they put it. It's not weird to me. So I'm going to do the same thing with the mouth. Let me get it centered, and I'm just going to rub it on. So I wonder sometimes why my nails break so much. But I took these for the size of them, because I've made little light bulbs, night light bulbs, you know, household light bulbs. But when I saw these, I thought, oh, those are fabulous. Sometimes I'll put stuff in a truck, and Tony will say, what is that? I thought, I'm crafting with it. He'll just shake his head. But then when I use it, he says, oh, that looks really nice. But he doesn't have the crafter eye. He has, that's junk eye. So I'm slowly getting these dots for the mouth. And I did pull a little bit of the paint off of the mouth. So I'm going to touch that up, but not right now. So there you go. So I did test these eyes, that when we used these on, I think I used eyes and a mouth on a pumpkin that we did in October. The little bit that I was allowed to go on in October. And they're still adhered to, we put them on a cloth doll. They're still adhered. It does look like clay. So all I did was I used my sandstone. This is chalk paint. And I added a bunch of Deco Art Pearl just to give it a little bit of shimmer. Because it does, if you could see it, it does look like a little bit of glitter in there. And I don't like that evil stuff. So, and then I used a tablespoon of baking soda. And that's how I got that texture. So even this one we did at the beginning, it was like really gloppy, but it is leveling out some as it's sitting over here. But it still has a texture to it. And that's what I wanted, because you know, my brain wasn't functioning after work today and I didn't get spackles. So the longer this paint sat, the thicker it got. So I'm going to sit him right there for a moment. I have 2 pipe cleaners that I've twisted together. Now I was looking around at something that I can twist these around to get them started. This little paint bottle was too big. So I have a box of these candles sitting here. So that's the perfect diameter. So that's what I'm starting with. Now these came from Amazon too. We're not using one tonight except for this. So I went around, I played with this while I was watching Jody. I went around it twice, and then I kind of twisted it, tightened it up a little bit more, and then just kept going in a circle. And I kept getting smaller and smaller using my tip of my finger. I used 2 fingers to start with, and then I pulled them out and used 1. So that's how I'm doing this nose. And I'm just twisting it to get it to look like I think it should look. Thanks, Ronnie. Yeah, I had to add water because I mixed it up and it was sitting here while I was working on these other ones while I was watching Jody, and I had to add water to it because it got so thick I couldn't brush it. There. So this doesn't come untwisted. I have a little piece of wire that I'm going to glue on the inside. Just glue it on the inside so that it kind of holds it together. So I'm going to do this attempt it anyway, and not burn myself because this has been on for over an hour, so it's like piping hot. So I'm just putting the glue on the wire and sticking it in as close as I can get it to the tip, and then pushing it on there. And that's just going to hold it together some. Hi, Barbara. We have taken a Dusk to Dawn light bulb and we are making a snowman. So you never know what I'm using, because I literally have a ton of stuff that hi Mel, that I've picked up at work. So if you have a U-Haul owned U-Haul that has indoor storage right inside of the storage door on the inside building, not the outside units, it has to have indoor storage. Hi Deborah. You can go in as a non-customer. You're allowed as far as the front door where the donation center is, and it's always right inside the sliding glass doors. People leave stuff and it's free to take. I have gotten fabulous bedposts that I want to do an angel with. So I just cut that extra wire off. I carry a Sawzall to work with me. I have tools I carry to work with me, so that if I see something, a broken bed, a headboard, and the bedposts are fabulous, I chop them off. So, yeah, now, as you can't do that. If you want the headboard for the bedpost, you got to take the bedpost. But I know how to dispose of it, the rest of it at work, since I work there. So I'm just holding this on here for a second. Hi, Donna. So you can do this with any size light bulb. You could just have to adjust the sizes of stuff that you're using. So I need to cut the tip of that wire off too. That's what we got so far. So I have a red paint marker. I get these at Walmart. Thank you for the hearts. I greatly appreciate that. So these are paint markers, and we have a gigantic dumpster, so it's for U-Haul use only. Because I work at one of the biggest U-Hauls, in this whole area, in the whole Atlanta area. I work at the biggest one. So we have, it's like 3 football fields. So I'm wetting my finger and I'm just lightly putting it where I want my cheeks. Just a little bit of water. Then I'm taking my paint pen and I'm just going to put a little bit of paint on there and then smear it with my finger. Just to make a cheek, because I don't want it really, really dark. So I do this with my cloth dolls also, this same technique. So I need to dampen that or blot it a little bit. And I don't have any paper towel here, so we'll use a piece of fabric. We always got fabric here. So you can make your cheeks light without having really dark. So I rubbed a little bit of the paint off. So I'm filling it in with the marker. So these dry out really fast. So I have a white one that I'm just going to maybe get the lid off. There we go. If you press them down a little bit, you get the paint at the tip. And I'm just going to do some little dots on his cheeks. Just like little freckles. And if you store these upside down, they last longer. Thanks, Deborah. So I'm going to get my paint back and a little brush. Now this is like super, super thick. And I'm just going to give him a little bit of snow on his nose. Okay, let me set that over there. And again, wipe my fingers one more time because we have a thing of gloves sitting here that we don't use. So Crafty Cove with Melissa Rose. I'm not sure I'm following you. If I'm not, I will go follow you. There is a great group of creators on here, and we all follow each other, and we've all become great friends. Probably never will meet each other, but we are all great friends. So I took, this is a 3-inch circle. This is wool. You can use felt, whatever, burlap, you know, whatever you want to use. And I cut a hole out. Now I had to cut this a couple of times to get it to go down over top of this widest part of this light bulb. So let me take my hanging wire off. So I just put this through the holes that I drilled, and I just used my Dremel just so I could hang these as I was working on them. We're going to put another hanger on here, but it just will go down, right down over top, right down to his face. Now I just kept taking tiny little slits, cuts at a time. You see 11 eyes. 11. Okay, I missed something. Thank you, Julie. Yes. Yeah, it says 12 eyes now. So I usually go live on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So there's his hat. So I am going to put a little bit of glue up underneath just so it will stay just a little bit. Because you don't need much. It's not going anywhere. Because this fits really, really tight. And that's what I wanted it to do. But I just kept taking tiny bits out of the circle until I got this to fit really tight on there. So there's so far. So I want to put some snow on his hat also. So I'm just going to. So I think I will make this again if I want spackling, and leave it sit and get really, really thick, because this is almost like spackling. I got black paint on my fingers again. Where am I getting black paint? I think it's on the bottom of that tray, so I'm not picking it up again. So we are going to decorate more of his hat. So whenever you're making something, you want all sides of your project to look just as good as the front, because I sell my stuff. You never know how somebody's going to use it. So, what am I doing to the very tip? Let's see. So this is coming out cuter than I thought, actually. I'm surprising myself. One to 11. Oh wow. Yeah, I'm seeing a constant 12, so I don't know. So I got some fabric from Donna, craftingwithdonna.com. This was a wider piece and I cut it. It's a long strip. So I'm going to rip this in half again. So it's just peppermints. So I don't know where Donna got it. We'll have to ask her. So I'm going to wrap it right around. Let's see, let's do a little bit more. Right, whoops. Sit up there. I put those on that side and that'll hold it. So I'm just going to tie this in a knot right at the top of his hat, like right at the top of the brim. Okay. So I'm just going to dovetail these ends. Go the right way, I'll get a dovetail. So I have berries and pine and all kinds of stuff sitting here. That's too big, that pine. I have a pine cone. what are we putting on here? Let's put some berries. I'm thinking I'm also going to put a piece of this around his neck, like a scarf. We'll see what that looks like. So this is not a real pine cone. I don't know where I got it. It's plastic, actually. So do I like, yeah, I like the pine cone. So I said I had comments over here on my phone. They're totally gone. The only thing consistent about FB is inconsistency. See if I can refresh it. Oh no, it backed me up by refreshing it. So I'm ahead over here and behind over there. So let's take some wire and make this hanger. I still have not rusted my wire, so I just put this on a tray and took black paint over it. So we have a ton of stuff going on right now. So buying peroxide is not on the top of the list. So let's see if I can get this one fed through the holes. I thought if I made these holes larger, this wouldn't be a problem. I should have known better. So I think his hat needs something, the top. So we're going to put something up there. Okay. I can see through this one for, oh, there we go. We got it. So we need a hanger. How big we want this? We don't need too big of a hanger. So what I'm going to try and do is twist this and then take the twist and push it through that hole. That's the thought anyway. Oh, there they are. I'll say I just had these things. No idea why my messages just died. Sometimes I think it's just me. Thank you, Julie. I see that. I have an awful time seeing messages up here or comments. Okay, Jenna. There we go. We got it bent. This wire really isn't that hard to bend. That's why I use it. Except the last 2 lives. It's been really difficult. Come on. There we go. Of course, it doesn't help that my fingers are not working right. Okay, let's move this around and see if I can't get it worked into that hole. Well, that's got to be flatter. Okay, we just need to bend the loop. There we go. So Jody, you're not the only one that talks to yourself when you're crafting. I'm sitting here sewing and I'm talking to whatever I'm making, and yeah, so there we go. So we need to make a rag bow for the top of this because it needs something. Or maybe some jingle bells. We could have fed some bells on this. Do I really want to take this apart and feed bells on here? I guess we do. And we just happen to have some sitting here. So let's feed some bells on. Let's put some on both sides. So these are rusty bells. These I did get rusted because I did like 300 of these at one time. 1, 2, 3, do 3 on each side. Get that one to go down there. There we go. This one to go over here. And let's make a loop in the top of this wire, just to give it a little more interest. So if I ever miss any of your messages, I go back and I read every one of these. I keep trying to get this one over here to work. So what do y'all think? I think it turned out kind of cute. Let's see what that scarf would look like around his neck. I'm not sure that would look right. Right around the bottom. Before we glue anything. Before I glue it on, what would that look like around the bottom? I think that would look cute, huh? Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that. So let's glue it on. So Donna, this fabric is working out pretty good. See that one little strip? Worked out perfect. So even though this was just a scrap of fabric, look what I did with just a scrap. So you can take, all year, basically, I have been using scrap fabric in all my videos because I have so much of it, but let's dovetail that. And there you go. We've got a snowman out of a light bulb. Oh, so there you go, Donna. There's an idea. Hi, Becky. Hi, Tanya. I missed a bunch of you. I am so sorry. I will go back and read comments. But there you go. A dusted on light bulb. And we've got a snowman. So this was the size of it when we started. So I appreciate all of you for hopping on. I'm sorry that I didn't see all your messages and everything. But I do go back and read every one of them. So God bless you. Have a wonderful night. And I will see you on Friday. I'm in an event and we're doing an angel. So I still have like 4 angels going on in my brain. I got to pick one. We'll do that by Friday. God bless you. Have a wonderful night.